You're listening to Brick by Brick, a work boots approach to your wealth.
Well, welcome back to Brick by Brick, the show where we take a work boots approach to your wealth. I'm here with my co-host Kyle Lubeck, partner in crime here on the show. Today, we're going to talk about why high income does not automatically equal financial security. Kyle, all the time, we talk to folks, and this is something that's maybe a little bewildering to people. But before we get into that, we have to apologize to the wonderful people out there. We've been I do. We've been getting into the whiskey reviews before we crack on with some fun financial topics. And normally we've been taping these later in the day, and today we happen to be not later in the day, and so we've got a couple of cups of Joe here, which is going to have to suffice.
It is coffee day, but the only one that's going to apologize is you.
It's probably my fault. Somewhere along the line, this was my idea. So
it was, yes, was. But I am coming to save the day. So unbeknownst to him, I did find something I think would make up because I knew we were filming ahead of time.
Okay.
So, I happened to find some Bubba's pancake and bacon whiskey.
Oh, well, it's okay. It's breakfast booze, so it doesn't count.
It doesn't count,
Okay.
actually. No, it's on the label. It doesn't count.
Okay.
So where the heck
FDA
is this
approved.
even out of? I should have checked this before we got here, but I was just trying to hide it so much. Rugby ID. Is that Idaho? Yeah. Idaho. Yeah. So, wanted behind bars, Bubba's Secret Stills pancake and bacon whiskey. So, we're gonna give that a shot. And
just to clarify, it's not that early in the day, so this isn't.
7 a.m. 7 a.m. for some people is a lot of pretty early.
It's like 2 a.m. in Japan or something. Right?
I just like a little bacon with my breakfast.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. So it smells good.
Smells like Denny's or something.
It smells like financial decision making.
Well, apparently we are going to do a review.
So cheers to that. Let's see here.
That is maple syrupy coffee.
It very much is.
Pancakes, you said, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I like that it's not syrupy tasting though. It doesn't have that kind of like
it's subtle,
fakey syrupy taste.
Yeah, I guess if you want to be one of those people that drink whiskey for breakfast, that's probably a good option.
We put a little in there.
It's not meant
to be fun. Yeah, that's not bad. Good job, Bubba's. Cool label. Bubba's Secret Stills.
Okay,
give it a shot.
Go Bubba's.
Can't really taste the bacon, but
no, I'm not getting
the pancakey feel is definitely there. So
okay,
there you go. I didn't let
you.
Now we let no one down.
Literally in the fourth quarter, you came in and spiked our coffee. All right.
Oh, it's just one of many things.
With that, so the topic at hand, we run into folks quite often actually that are very productive, especially small business owners or small to medium-sized business owners, entrepreneurs who have a high income and for some reason don't have or are not building towards a high net worth. They're almost stuck in the mud. They tend to be frankly very stressed. Money is something they don't want to talk about, even though it seems like there should be plenty of it.
Well, it's not even so much they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about the hard topics of money. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is they're very quick to tell us about the new gadget they've bought or toy they've bought or vacation they took, but the boring stuff that gets their financial plan moving forward sometimes falls to the wayside, and it's that lifestyle creep. Mm-hmm. We've all heard it, we've seen it.
Yep.
There's plenty of other folks that talk about it, but it really is, especially in this day and age. The keeping up with the Joneses and the tech side of things, and the blurring the lines between what is a need and what is ultimately a want. It's pretty crazy.
The basically lifestyle creep, if you don't know, referring to, hey, I got that raise, I got that bonus, we made a sale at work, my business expanded, there's an increase in what's coming in. Well, I can afford to increase what's going out. Yeah. And the thing that we all most of us subconsciously do is we increase that the exact same or maybe even more. Mm-hmm. I made an extra 10 grand this year at work. My lifestyle went up 11, that kind of thing. And it's creeping because it doesn't feel like big changes. Yeah. It's one more trip. It's a little bit nicer car, a little bit nicer steak dinner, one more cocktail every month, that kind of thing. And that's why it's a creep.
Well, that's what kind of started this whole podcast, yes, right? Honestly. I mean, we were sitting around having different whiskey at a different time of day and just having these conversations. And, let's address the elephant in the room. Inflation is crazy, has been for 10 years, right? Doesn't matter what anyone says, stuff costs more
Mm-hmm.
now. Insurance is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Those are multiplying way higher than any type of inflationary component that's put out in the news.
Mm-hmm.
Property taxes are growing up. Housing costs, even though interest rates went higher, we didn't see a decrease in house affordability.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of factors that are working towards or working against a lot of folks, and with that, you are still seeing the social media posts
Yeah.
and the hearing the stories of, well, I took this vacation, and I don't know about you, but I grew up with modest means,
Mm-hmm.
and our vacation was heading actually to Jellystone Park. Plug right here, Warrens. Love you guys. And that was a local trip, and that was our big trip of the year. And now I'm hearing, oh well, I deserve 2 vacations a year. I
Yeah.
deserve the new iPhone or whatever it is.
Tommy and his family, or Sally Joe and her family, went to Bora Bora.
Yeah,
We got to go on a trip.
exactly. And so we're just hearing, um, I don't even know the right word. The goals haven't necessarily changed dramatically, but the expectation of each individual
Yeah.
goal
Mm-hmm.
has multiplied just by the
Yep.
nature of what they think normal is. And so
Right.
that's something I'd like to talk about today. So.
For sure. Something that I talk about a lot when I'm meeting somebody for the first time, or when people ask me, who you like to work with. And I think we probably share this. I
Yeah.
often talk about the business owners and the entrepreneurs because they're very
Yeah.
productive, like we said. They're creating a product, they're providing a service, they are producing a massive amount of value. I mean, the small business is the backbone of our economy, and that's not just a political thing. It's true. And
Yeah.
60-70% of our economy is small business people putting themselves out there. And what I often tell people is, I, at least as a planner, or anyone listening who maybe doesn't have a planner, but you want to try and do this right, you got to build the structure before you have the success. What I mean, more money, more problems. We've all heard that, right? People go, oh, come on, that person making 400 grand a year, 500, $1 million a year, there, come on, what do they have to be worried about? Well, here's the thing. If you didn't have structure, if you didn't have habits, if you didn't have any plans, any of the boring stuff in place, like where are these extra dollars going to go? That huge increase, that huge, oh, I made a sale, I made 20 grand next month, or the business did huge in the fourth quarter, we made 100 grand, and all of a sudden I have $80,000 in my bank account, whatever the number is, right? You go, boom, business takes off. You didn't have any structure, the lifestyle creep, the keeping up with the Joneses, all of a sudden that money's out the door. And the next time it comes around, you're like, oh my gosh. And now I got to worry about taxes, and I got to worry about expenses I didn't plan for, because I didn't have a plan. And so I just knee jerk spent this money I have.
Yeah.
And that's where we try and, at least within our team for our clients, and this is, I think, what I would say is a takeaway. One of the takeaways for today is try and find a way to turn that business or financial success into actual life success, at least with some of it, right? And we'll get into what that means.
But. Yeah. Well, I mean, that goes back to previous episodes of budgets.
Yeah, right.
Like, what is a budget?
Mm-hmm.
I have a client, makes very, very good money in the medical field, but doesn't have a pot to piss in, pardon my French. And so made him do a budget, made him. He kicked and screamed. Yep. It was actually quite entertaining to see someone as smart as him do this exercise.
Don't wanna.
But it was this is stupid. I don't need to do that. And we found out that he was leasing I'm not going to say the instrument, but leasing an instrument to sit in his full entryway.
Oh.
And nobody knew how to play it. And I'm like, why do we have it? For the look, something extra to dust.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that where, and now we can get all psychological about, what does everyone perceive of us? What are we trying to show off? We don't need to go down that route necessarily, but from a monetary perspective, everyone works really hard for their dollars, and they create a lifestyle that they want, right? And you should have fun. You should enjoy life. Heck, I'm guilty of being fairly frugal. We talked about that obviously with the boots. It's kind of started the whole brand here, but as you're starting to look at that increasing accumulation lifestyle, right? You start out kind of in the foundation, right? You graduate school, whether it's high school, 2-year school, trade school, 4-year college, master's, doesn't matter, right? You graduate and you're foundationally learning how to manage a household, right? What is a budget? How do I sign up for these benefit package that they just threw at us? How do I work the health insurance realm when I go to the doctor? Like, there's so many things you have to grow up really fast, and our system is very complicated. And then you reach a point where you tip over from foundation to accumulation.
Right.
And during that accumulation phase, that's the earning years. That's the income's going up, lifestyle's busy, maybe kids are in the picture.
Yep.
Maybe you are taking those trips and things
Yeah.
like that. There's a lot of coordination that goes into that, and so you get real busy, and that's where you need to buckle down
Yeah.
and make yourself your first bill. We said that
For
in
sure.
previous episodes.
Yeah.
I think Jim Rohn that maybe did a nice talk on this, where he says the number one indicator between financially successful people and unsuccessful people is they build their lifestyle over what's left.
Mm.
Which ultimately is saying backing into what are our goals in the future, applying some sort of metrics to them, saying, okay, a dollar comes in the door, what percentage of that dollar goes to my future goals?
Mm-hmm.
And then they build their lifestyle around that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always stuck with me. It's saying, I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You graduate college, nobody's coming out with $200,000 in income.
Yeah.
But somehow 10 years later, now it's a $200,000 income household or
Right.
$100,000 a year or income household, and magically they spend 100 grand.
Yeah. Right.
It's like, other people are doing it on less. You've just made decisions to get to that
It's
point.
not so different, Kyle, than like when we talk about having a plan, putting the structure in place before you have investment gains or before the market's selling off, having that exit strategy, having a plan ahead of time before the emotions come in.
Yeah.
There's some emotion that comes along with a big raise, a big bonus.
Mm-hmm.
Business just went crazy this quarter, this month, and all of a sudden you got a bunch of cash. That feels good. It feels good to be productive. And that's sort of like you'll say the dopamine hit of, well, I did good this month. I'm probably going to do good next month. Let's go have some fun. And that's not always wrong, by the way.
Yeah.
Got to have that healthy balance. Something that I do for myself or for our family is like, my wife and I, it's, hey, if we're going to get an 8% raise, 3% raise, whatever it is, let's only increase our lifestyle 2%, 3%, right? And the rest of that gets either carved off for the future or the rainy day or whatever the structure is of the things we're trying to accomplish with that money. And that keeps you from kind of just floating into that creep like we talked about. The thing with high income, and we love high income earners. Again, this is why it's so fun to work with them, because there's so much we can do to help them be productive. And if you're a high income producer that's listening, there are so many fun things that you can turn that asset or that skill you have, which is to be productive, and turn it into an actual asset and actual success, which is higher net worth, more savings, more safety, more carefreeness in life.
Yeah. Henry's.
As in, like, what do you mean by Henry's?
High earners not rich yet.
See, and I was thinking $100 bills. That's not Henry. That's Benji's. I don't know.
Benji's.
What I was going to say is high income can often band-aid or cover up lack of structure.
Yeah.
It's, well, we almost didn't make the credit card bill this month because the sale didn't come through, but then the big sale came through, and so we're good. And then you're kind of like living paycheck to paycheck, even though those paychecks are pretty high, certainly higher than the average person, right?
Yeah.
It's easy to go, well, I'll make an extra X amount of money next month. It'll be fine. And just kick that can down the road, kind of defer those good decisions. It's easy to do. And again, don't feel guilty that you've done that. The point is, now is the time to start taking those kinds of things seriously and do some of those boring things to create the structure.
Well, and not only that, and hopefully one of the takeaways here today is people get into these situations where they have monthly payments going out the door that just keep going up and up, whether it's new vehicles, whether it's subscriptions, whether it's, your $9 a month Paramount Plus subscription isn't going to kill you.
Yeah.
But when's the last time you watched it?
Yeah.
Guilty dude right here just shut his off yesterday.
Yeah. You look back and you go, oh, I spent $400 since I used
on
it last.
that for nothing, right?
Yeah.
And so it's this monthly thing. And so what we're working on is getting back to it, because at one point we had zero debt, and now you move. We had to buy 2 new vehicles. The transmission went out. We're like, we're not going to fix a vehicle. So we're working towards that. So we're paying that off as fast as humanly possible, because it's dead debt. It's bad debt, right?
See, but Kyle, I think that's kind of the point. When we say structure, I suppose we should flesh that out a little bit. Give examples of what we mean by that. You're talking about exactly what we're trying to say. Hey, that next bill comes in, that next check comes, that bonus salary, again, sale, whatever your business is, however you're making money. He's already decided, or the family's already decided, we're going to put that towards some of the debt we've got that we don't want anymore.
Yeah.
Or this time we're going to put money towards the 401k. A lot of times you're doing all of it, kind of a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, right? Most people aren't just this, or this, but you've already got an idea. Hey, that check comes in. Great. We got that sale. We got that bonus, whatever, the quarterly bonus, whatever it is. That money gets allocated so it doesn't sit there and creep, right?
Yeah. Well, and be careful. Again, in the previous episode, we talked about some of the psychological components that go into financial decision making. The decision you make financially is the caboose on the end of a
Right.
long train of thought processes and decision making. That's just the dopamine hit at the end.
Yeah.
And so if you can really work on yourself and say, look internally and be honest with yourself,
Yeah.
right? A lot of, I sometimes fake myself out a little bit too
Yeah.
because I just want
Yeah.
it, i.e. compound bow.
We're
But
very, we're very good at talking ourselves into
Connor
things.
made me go and buy a compound bow the other day. So
I'm a good influence when it comes to spending. He's a good influence when it comes to what we put in our
yeah,
mouth.
there we go. Yeah, very good. But no, it's if you can be honest with yourself
Yeah.
and just, hey, how am I approaching this next decision? Whether it's buying something fun, taking on a new debt, signing up for a new subscription, whatever it
Yeah.
is this going to make me happy tomorrow?
Yep.
Is this going to put me towards those goals
Mm-hmm.
in my plan that I set and listed out?
Yep.
And if it's not, then you just got to either be cool with the consequences of that
Yep.
decision or maybe pivot a little bit and
Yeah.
say, do we need it maybe this much? I'm not saying don't have any fun. No way am I ever saying that.
Yeah.
But how much fun is the right amount of fun?
Yeah.
And there's a wonderful study out there, and it came out, God, it's got to be over a decade ago. I'm getting older, right? Saying, the kind of break even of where happiness is fully realized from a monetary component, somewhere between like $70,000 and $80,000.
Yeah.
Beyond that, your life doesn't get inherently better, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just you've reached the happiness of money, and now every other little thing is just little dopamine hits. And then there's a lot more to that study. But,
well, and I would contend that the fact that most people don't have the structure we're talking about is why you increase income, so you increase some financial ability, but you also increase financial stress because you don't have the structure. And 70% of people don't have a plan, right? Simple kind of takeaway, right? To institute this or try this for yourself, I would lay out your 3 different kinds of goals for yourself. Sit down, write it on paper. Short term, medium term, long term goals. So what might those be? I got to fund that emergency fund in the short term. I got to make sure I have cash so I'm not going to credit card debt. Okay, there's one. We're probably going to need to replace one of those cars in the next 1 to 3 years. That's 2. How much money do we need to save for that? And I want to retire someday. Okay, those are 3 goals that I'm just off the top of the head, right?
Yep.
Every time you get that big bonus, that big sale, that's increase we're talking about, think about what's an appropriate amount to put into those goals, and then go have fun with the rest of it, right? That's the type of structure we're talking about. It doesn't have to be insane, complicated, 25 different bank accounts, wires here, this. Just consciously and thoughtfully use those resources, that income that you have, to better your life, to build towards the future. Again, it sounds boring. Oh, great accounting. Oh, great budgeting. Oh, great cash flow analysis. Thanks, guys. Really exciting.
Well, make a game out of it.
Yeah, make a game out of it. Win those games. It's like the video game. Like you're playing the game and you can see that progress bar and boom, you completed the progress. Now you got another one, right? That's what you want to start to work towards.
Well, it's 2026. There is a software out there,
right?
An AI thing, something to communicate that information in a way that triggers you as an individual, because everyone thinks about finances different. Some people just hide from them,
for
honestly.
sure, absolutely.
But then I see their cell phone bill and I go, holy crap, you're paying how much for your cell phone?
Yeah.
Well, I bought the next $2,700 flippy open thing, and it opens
and I
up
put
to
an
this
iPad
big, and I'm like,
on it, and it's got a router, and I've got 3 different streaming. So yeah, I mean, they get you with
and now
stuff, right?
I'm paying for internet for my vehicle, so I have internet between my house and my office, and it's just like, all right, what is necessary?
Yeah.
And what is a convenience that is not even a want, it's a speculative desire at this point, and that's become the norm, and some of my most successful clients have addressed some of these things, and they work their way backward, and they're saving, they go from saving, their proverbial match, the 401k, into 20, 30, 40% of their income. And when I talk to them after they've made those changes, they are not any less happy because of it, because they feel like they're accomplishing something else in their life, versus just aimlessly meandering through work, home, spend, work. Now they're like, ooh, I'm shooting for something. They're excited for the future. It's kind of like preparing for that vacation. Treat your finances like the excitement of looking forward to that next vacation.
I love that.
And if you can blend those two up here, it'll translate to your pocketbook.
I kind of, the analogy I use sometimes when I'm trying to talk through with like a business owner, this kind of idea, like, hey, I make all this money, but I can't figure out where it's going. It's like, well, how do you solve that problem? Again, back to this, we just cover Band-Aid with more income. Like, hey, I'm driving my car down the road. It's making a weird noise, not driving great. I'm not gonna take it to the shop though because I don't have any structure. I don't have a plan on how to fix this. I'm just gonna put more gas in it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just gonna go make more money. I'm just gonna put more gas in the car.
Yeah.
Like, hey, your car sounds kind of funny. What's going on? Well, I'm just gonna put more gas in it.
Yeah.
Like, that's not how we solve those problems. You don't just make more income and that just magically someday turns into, oh, I have a stable retirement. I've accomplished all my goals. You can solve a lot of problems through cash flow. You for sure can.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a structure, like you said, you're just going to wander aimlessly through. And we've seen so many examples where structure and a plan, from a net worth standpoint, financial security standpoint, retirement standpoint, structure beats salary so many times.
Oh God. Oh yeah. I mean, I can think of them off the top of my head. A couple of teachers. They were prudent savers.
Yep.
They had wonderful experiences.
Absolutely.
Their experiences with their children were fantastic. They were just intentional with a lot of their decision making. And now they're retiring with not a care in the world. They're living exactly the lifestyle they want. They knew exactly when the drop dead date is. The fear of retirement wasn't there when they finally made that decision.
Yep.
It was, no, we know all the numbers. We're good. Yeah. This is when we're retiring.
It's that classic, that radio show host that everyone's probably heard of, who does that study of 10,000 millionaires. And what do you know? One of the two top millionaire occupations is teacher, and they never made more than six figures, but somehow they have retired as millionaires because of structure, because of ho humming, because of doing the boring, because boring beats broke.
Yeah.
We've kind of beat this to death, but the viewer question we had leading into today was basically, why doesn't it feel like the more money I earn, the easier this gets? Again, be honest with yourself about spending. Be honest with yourself about, have we really created a plan before we started making more money on how we're going to use those assets? And that
wear the old boots.
Yeah. Is everything in your life a brand new set of boots?
Yeah.
Seriously, sit back and go, wow, I've had more success and more success, but now I look around and it's all material. And it's all things with a payment, or it's all things that
or a lease. You don't even own it.
Yeah, you don't own it. You're wondering why you're not building worth. And it's not all about net worth, right?
Yeah.
But financial stability doesn't necessarily just come from a whole bunch of gas in, a whole bunch of gas out of the car, right?
Yeah. Stop with the leases, everybody. Stop it. Just stop it.
You don't need a third boat, Kyle. You don't need a third boat.
I mean, the floaties just aren't doing it. The little duck floaties.
Yeah. Oh man.
No, it's no, that was well said.
Yeah.
And then again, I hope it's coming across to everyone. If you happen to tune in and stay along this long, so one, we appreciate that, and two, I just so badly want people to just slow down. And just save your money. You work really hard for it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of blood, sweat, tears, sacrifices that you're doing to go and work that job or build that business or whatever it is, to then flippantly give it away for a $20 cocktail. Just it, to my core hurts me.
Yeah. Well, and again, like we talked about the balance, right, Kyle? Like, we're not the ones that are like, hey, that $5 latte is $20,000 in 40 years when you retire to 7%. Like, that's not useful. You will go crazy. And I've done that personally before. I've squeezed every ounce of everything I can. There's no joy in that, and tomorrow's not guaranteed. But what we're saying is, take 20%, 30% of what's coming in and do something thoughtful for your future about it. Build some structure, build some habits. And we'd be pretty convinced that you're going to find yourself with more success in 5 years having done that.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
Well, thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate all the questions and all of the feedback and things we've been getting.
Yes.
If you have interest in being involved in the show, if you have questions you want to be asked on the next episode, shoot us an email at workbootswealth@gmail.com. We'd be happy to have you as part of the show. Next time, we're going to talk about the concept of why being busy with money doesn't necessarily mean you're being productive with money. And we're going to take that concept apart brick by brick on the next episode.
And if you want to contribute to the GoFundMe to get Connor some new boots, let us know. We're always up for that.
I'm going to get bullied by the internet again for not wearing boots to the work boots approach.
I'm sorry, I had to. It was just...
You know what? If I become a meme, we'll take it.
Exactly.
We'll take it, because maybe Bubba will see us if we go viral for people bullying me over my lack of boots. So.
Bubba, if you got some old work boots, I got here, but we need that sitting up there as the mascot. But if you got some old ones,
I told him he's not really supposed to wear those anymore because they can't get any crappier. So, all right, buddy. We'll see you at the next one.
Cheers.
Cheers.